Steve, episode 17. Can't believe we're at 17 already of the Broadway block. Great 3-1 win for the Rangers. Ryan Strome's 300th point. Igor with 36 saves. What did you like about the game? What did you not like?
Well, so the first period in my head was starting to make me really get worried because, Valak had started to talk about, like, what are we already thinking about the Islanders game on Thursday. But for me, it was just a classic example of another game where we're getting outshot and we're losing face-off opportunities and they're generating offense, and maybe not quality shots, but certainly a lot of them. And one of the things that I always remember when I was young watching games was how come a goalie who gets outshot so desperately starts to turn it up? Well, they get warmed up where the other guy doesn't. And we were trailing 16 shots to 6, which gave, in my opinion, Igor the chance to get really warmed up. And you saw him really lock in a little bit, minus the goal with a couple seconds left before the period ended. He was lights out and he looked fantastic.
That's the Sabers' best goal scorer, and it was a bad penalty right there for us on Hedel, the tripping penalty. So you got to like that Igor was there for the whole first period minus that Sam Reinhart goal.
Absolutely. And I think that let him get into the game, whereas the rest of the team took about a period and a half to start getting things going. Brendan Smith seemingly gets a little bit upset with the fact that no one's shooting, because he kind of looked at the bench like, that's all you got to do, just shoot the thing. And he took no time at all to just slap the thing on net. That's all you have to do sometimes. The defenseman for the Sabres kind of cuts off the vision of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who was making his second NHL start. And for a guy that's making their second NHL start, man, to only have 6 shots on net, you got to give him a little bit more tests than that. So that's what I didn't like. I loved Hedel breaking to the net. There was multiple plays where he created offense all by himself, and laughed with that really clutch goal to
what was
give
that
us the
from
lead there.
Strom stole it down at the
Strome.
boards and just set him right up right there.
So I had actually texted you about it when it happened, but Kreider, again, seemingly just a little bit frustrated, maybe not liking the way that the team was playing, and elevating to show that letter on his chest, comes in and just manhandles somebody in the corner. And you could hear the rise from not only the fans, but the team, in my opinion, always gets up after a big hit like that. You notice the next guy was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
It was the
Strome.
stick check one in the corner, right? And you don't see guys on the stick check fall over like that all the time. So that was great.
He just manhandled somebody in the corner.
Yep.
And you can hear the emotion a little bit. It came out after the game that Laugh actually looked over at Strome after they got switched into the same line, and looked over at Strome and said, we're going to go get one this shift. And boy, did he. Again, a beautiful play on Strome to piggyback off of what I said. Strome has the same idea as Kreider, goes and manhandles somebody in the corner. Panarin's there causing some chaos, and Strome just throws it right on the tape of Laugh. So a great goal to see from Laugh. He's got a little point streak going now and starting to garner that confidence that comes with someone who's selected in his slot.
Yeah. Chris Kreider, he had that great pass to Zibs for that wide open net. It was just like this much space waiting for him. Zibs just finished it. You gotta love that. I read an article today that he was not on the ice, Chris Kreider, for practice this morning. So I don't know if it was a little hard the game for him or if he's going to be there tonight for him. So that will be interesting to see if he actually gets the start. We see Igor's in net again. We talked about Igor's record a couple episodes ago against the Islanders. So that's something to watch to see if he really gets. I don't think he's ever won against the Islanders.
No, he's 0-3-1 at the moment against the Islanders. And it has to be, in my opinion, it has to be a little bit disheartening if you're Igor and then Georgiev gets the start today, because, you got 5 games after this one. You got 5 games left in the season. So what kind of confidence does that really bode for your starter if you say, look, you're our starter, but if it's against this team, and what happens if we do force somebody out of the playoffs and then all of a sudden you're lined up against the Islanders? That puts you in a position where you're maybe not so confident. So I think to breathe the light into Igor and to make him feel like, the past is the past. We don't care about your record against them lifetime. Go and get that first W. I think he not only, I mean, it's confirmed that he's getting the start. I
He's
think that he
confirmed,
comes
yep.
out. I think he's coming out strong tonight. And I think if he has a bad game, you can always
Then you
lean on
throw
Gorgiev for the
Georgiev
next
in.
one.
Yep.
Exactly right. But I don't think that you can take your starter out of that position, having been playing out of his skull completely, and then down the stretch, it's going to be ever so important that he has that confidence as our starter. So,
Well, you mentioned that, you never know, we might be playing the Islanders in the playoffs. Well, it's looking more and more likely that we might be able to jump and get their spots. We're at 58 points. Bruins play the Pens today. Big game for them. I know they got Tuukka Rask in net, and they got Jerry going up head to head. So that's two starters going against each other. So that could go either way. But the next step for us is this game tonight. It's like a playoff game. If we get 2 points on them, then we're only 3 points behind the Islanders, and we play them again. So we could by the end of the series only be 1 point behind the Islanders. Then we start worrying them a little bit more that they got to play good hockey. Like they can't play 500 hockey and get into the playoffs, like, because they know we're hot on their heels. So,
and to that point, they only have one game in hand versus the Bruins having two. So it gives a little bit less of a question mark on what's going to happen. They still have to win those games, but the Islanders have also played sub 500 hockey within their last 10 games. So the likelihood of them continuing on this trend, in my opinion, is higher than the Bruins, who have been playing at an 80% clip lately. So definitely, and wouldn't it feel so much nicer to take it from the Islanders, a team that was in the Final Four, a team that has got our numbers so far this season. I feel like this is a real test for our team to see if we really are a playoff team. And
couldn't agree more.
And they've dusted us. I mean, they really did make us look laughable when we were on this stretch of playing really good hockey. So hopefully not only do we get away with these points, but we can come out with a much stronger start than we did against the Sabers. And I feel like this is a game that the boys have to be pretty ready for.
Well, they're coming off a bad loss. I think Barzell in his last 4 or 5 games hasn't scored a goal. So I'm a little worried about that, because I think every game this year he's played against us, he's had like 1 or 2, or not, at least set someone else up. Matt Martin pretty much got his butt kicked by Charo last time, so he's going to come out fired up. Loved what I saw from Laugh. You gotta like that he continues on, and the best part is it looks like he's having fun out there with like fun hockey. He's got a smile on his face, and it doesn't matter which, kind of like Krabby, doesn't matter which line you put him on, you get production out of it. So that should be interesting to see tonight. Still don't think we've seen a Laugh fight. In the last game, we had a Rooney fought Cousins fight, so should be interesting to see. It's a big rivalry game, and especially if we're going to see if we get any scrappy plays out there from anybody. So,
I mean, this is not only the guy that has the whole weight of the franchise on his shoulders, but he seems to be having we're talking about Laugh, seems to be having the most fun out of anybody out there. And it's infectious. He is such a boyhood player who, I mean, did you see the way he lit up when Mika scored the hat trick? I mean, he just loves to be on the ice for these awesome moments. And he seems like a really unselfish, really happy-go-lucky player. And to have that camaraderie, I mean, Brendan Smith had spoke about it in the locker room, that this is a fun team to play on, and you can see it. You see, I mean, dating back to 3 seasons ago, you had the KZB line jumping on each other's backs as they skate into the locker room. So you have years of chemistry, and then you add guys like this that the team likes to play with. I think that we're just scratching the surface on some fun Lafreniere hockey to watch. So I couldn't be more excited to watch this guy develop in front of us. And you had even mentioned privately with me a couple days ago about, imagine now with his momentum, starting to see him on a full 82 game season. I mean, he could be on pace for like a 20 goal year right now. If I mean, the fact is he didn't play meaningful hockey since last March. He comes in with no exhibition games this season, and with a training camp that only lasted a few weeks. Not to make excuses, a lot of guys around the league that are flirting with 40 points for their rookie season had the same circumstances, but this is a guy who hadn't played any meaningful hockey for more than a half of a year. So now he's starting to hit his stride, and I think that it's justified to put him on that top line, especially if you don't see Kreider for this game. Look up for Big Laugh to be making those big plays, especially starting to use the body a little bit more in the corners. But
Yeah, definitely like it. So we'll leave you guys with that today. That wraps it up for episode 17 of the Broadway block. I say it every time, but it's like a playoff game. So we need a big win, big save from Igor, and we need just like somebody like Brendan Smith to just come in and take over that game when we were looking pretty flat in the first. We're going to need that, and we're going to need to win pucks in the neutral zone today, unlike last game against them. So,
well, bold prediction: if we win these 2 games against the Islanders, I think we make the playoffs. Just because this has got to really put a big feather in your cap if you can knock off a team like this. So big game tonight. Hopefully we can get some 2 points and close up that little gap a little bit.
all right. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Joe.